Hello everyone and welcome back to Next Gen Competition. We are here at the Willow Springs Raceway for round 4 of the NASCAR GT Season 6 here for the smillzyGT 75. Should be another exciting race in what has already been an exciting season. The 4th round, and so far only, I believe, 2 drivers are locked into the playoffs so far, those being, of course, Aston Lewis and I'll get there in the end. And Tyler Davison, sorry, completely blanked there on what happened last week, just a week ago. Concerning, really. Yes, we're starting 5 minutes late today, but only 5 minutes. No pre-qualifying this week, as only 11 cars are racing. But yes, 2 drivers locked in, those 2 both racing here today. But with some other notable drivers showing up here this week, we could have some playoff surprises. So let's get this race underway. Some newcomers here to the series after last week. We have Nathan Marriott, who will be driving the number 43 car for Zero Quality Racing, after the previous driver of that car, Gran, had to leave the league due to unfortunate circumstances, let's say. So he will be the new driver, partnering up alongside of George Hassart there at that team. Another driver who is showing up, I believe, for maybe only the second time this season, who is a driver who is very much a favourite out of all the field, Ridwan Hamza, driving for his own team, FR Racing, that he'll be looking to try and win his way into the playoffs this season. A driver who is known for really brilliant pace on the road courses, but not known for as good a speed on the ovals. So, given that he's missed a couple of races already this year, he's really going to probably have to win his way into the playoffs. That or have some really, really good races in the coming weeks here. As we now see the field beginning to line up on our screens, we get ready for today's race. And once again, feels like every single race we've had this season, apart from, of course, the season opener, it is the Phoenix Motorsport cars of Aston Lewis and Adam Richardson who line up on the front row of the grid. The grid is decided by championship order, so those 2 are the top 2 in the championship. Adam Richardson, perhaps one of those quieter drivers to be up there. Haven't seen that much of him really since the Blue Moon 200, of course, missing out on the win on the last lap. But since then, he's been really consistent, keeping himself in the mix there, and has really impressed, I think, most people as the season has gone on, and managed to keep himself up in second in the championship, as we see them all just beginning to find their way into position now. If you have any comments, please feel free to say them. So yeah, let's get ready for today's race, and already got a couple of you in there, so great to see. As we will, the field is nowhere near stacked up here, not really sure what's happening. So we're going to probably have another lap of caution here. Not entirely sure what the hold-up is. No, we're actually going to catch up in time just about. Cutting it a bit close, but we'll indeed be green this time. So just the one formation lap this week, green this time. Aston Lewis and Adam Richardson on the front row of the grid. We're now getting ready for round 4 of Season 6. The second road course of the season. And could we see a third driver lock themselves into the playoffs? Some big names up front, some big names down the order. It's a mixed up grid, and that always means excitement. The drivers coming out of the final corner now, making their way towards the start-finish line, and we are racing here. Green flag in the air. The smillzy 75 is underway. Aston Lewis out front here, immediately with a big jump over his teammate Adam Richardson, who dives into that first corner. It's already immediately got a big slide there from Matt Pulio, who goes wide in the first corner. That allows Tyler Davison, who's had a flying start, to get up into 5th place here. He's now side by side with Ben Driscoll as they go through turn 2 and 3 now. The number 57 car on the outside trying to make that move with the number 36 on the inside. Oh, Davison goes slightly wide but keeps his foot in it. And he's going to go down the inside now, perhaps a bit of a dirt on his tyres. Oh, but that's Driscoll going wide just behind him. A couple of other cars getting in the mix here. That's also Ridwan Hamza. Ridwan Hamza's gone wide. He's sliding. He's nearly spun it. He's somehow held on to the car, but now he goes off again. Drama here as Driscoll's gone around as well, just ahead of him. Ben Driscoll's around. That's 2 cars off the road, 2 cars around with early troubles in this race. Aston Lewis has also fell down the order. He's gone off as well. And just like that on lap 1, with carnage all over the field, the caution will come out here. We missed what happened to Aston Lewis there, but somehow out of all of that, it is Scott Sandover who has taken the lead of the smillzy 75. Tyler Davison already up into 2nd place. Adam Richardson up into 3rd. Despite starting 2nd, it looks like he's dropped back here. He got the lead after his teammate made a mistake, but it now seems that trouble again as he got himself into position. We won't be able to go green this time, I don't think. The field is it's going to get there just in time. You know what? I'm a gambler. We're going to go green this time. Green this time. Confirm that now, and we'll see the leaders. And they're going racing again here. Sandover puts his foot back down to the pedal, and we are racing as they dive down towards turn 1. It is Sandover out front ahead of Richardson, then comes Davison. Richardson gaining a position on that restart as the pack behind battling away as there's a car already massively off the road. Don't know who that is yet, we'll have a look at that in a second. But we've got side-by-side racing for the lead here. It's a number 7 car on the outside of the 23. Side-by-side for the lead. Davison gets involved, he pushes Richardson wide. Richardson spins across the field. We've got another car involved here as well, and that's with Afonso Silva off the road. We have another caution here. Willow Springs, it's known for its challenges, and already just 3 laps into the race, we have 2 cautions in this one. And well, it's certainly an exciting start to the race, as now somehow Rick Tuenbeek is up into 2nd place, and Tyler Davison has dropped down to 8th. What is going on in this race? What is going on? He's still off the road, he's only now just got back on the road, down in 10th place. Wow, this is a really crazy start to this race so far. Drama already, and it's like really strange sort of comparison, but for those of you that haven't raced around the track before, a track that I'm sure you will know very well, Rainbow Road, that's the equivalent. You just go a little bit off the road here, and that's it, gone. You fall into the abyss, which is the long, sort of deep sand that they have around this circuit, which really offers no grip at all. And the field is going to be ready here to go racing, as we've got a car just catching up to the back of the field. We will be green this time, and getting ready. Let's see, can we finally have a nice carnage-free restart? It's Sandover on the left, Tuenbeek on the right. They get ready, and they are racing again here. Good jump by Sandover, immediately pulling away out front as they make their way towards the start-finish line. And lap 4 begins here on the smillzyGT. Sandover straight over the racing line. He's got a huge jump. That's Driscoll trying to get involved here into the mix. Tuenbeek's on his outside. These two racing down the hill now. Tuenbeek, ignore the livery he's got on the number on the side of his car. He is in the number 3 car, I believe. I don't know. He might actually be in the 45. Sorry, poor communication from JMR on that one. I think it might be the 45, but just wrong number placement. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but now they dive in to the next left-hand corner. See them making their way through here now. Up the hill they come. We've got Tuenbeek on the outside there of, I believe that is actually the new driver. Oh, he's got a spinner in the back, and that's Ridwan Hamza, who's gone around again. He has gone around again in this race. But apart from that, it looks like we've had a fairly clean restart. But I was going to say Nathan Marriott. He is up in 4th place in this one now, making some good progress so far on the number 43 car. But up at the front, it is Sandover with a big lead over the rest of the field. Driscoll is in 2nd with Lewis in 3rd. But oh, look at that. Driscoll looks like he may have clipped a wheel on the dirt. He's having to defend from Lewis. Lewis may even get into the back of him here. Will they make it through this very, very high-speed corner? Lewis gets it done. It's a really tough corner there. You just doesn't look as quick as it is, and you make a small mistake and you end up way off in the dirt and sand and gravel and all the other horrible things that you can find out there. Now we've got side-by-side racing for 3rd. We've got Marriott on the outside there of Driscoll, making a nice move around the outside of turn 1 to get up to 3rd place here. And he continues to make moves up the order as Lewis is now pressuring our race leader, Scott Sandover, out front of the 23 car for Funny F1, trying to hold on to that lead. But Aston Lewis has hunted him down and is now all over the back of that Funny F1 Chevrolet that is now out front in this race. Just behind there you see Nathan Marriott in the 43 car in his debut, looking to try and take a rare debut victory. You don't see those very often here, but he's always got off the road. He's got off the road, he's gone wide. We've got side-by-side racing for the lead as well, and it's Sandover trying to hold on. He's broke a bit too late, and Aston Lewis has now taken the lead of the race, and somehow, despite going a little bit wide there, it looks as though indeed he has. The 43 car of Marriott has managed to stay out on the racetrack. Driscoll right behind him there as Julio is in 5th, but up at the front, Lewis takes the lead away from Sandover. I believe we had 2 cars have problems here as, actually no, that's just George Hassard who's dropped back a little bit there. That was the front. It is Lewis who leads this race, the driver with 2 wins already on this season, looking for a 3rd. But of course, this is only stage 1 and no more cautions in this first stage now. It's a straight race to the finish. Lewis out front, ahead of Sandover, and then Marriott in 3rd place. Julio is now up into 4th place. It looks like he's making a move for that position. He's on the outside of Driscoll. He's gone a little bit wide there. Is there enough racetrack? Not quite. He has to back out of it, and that's going to leave him under pressure from Richardson behind, who is now having to try and find his way back up the orders. Meanwhile, Davison, another driver who's had troubles in this one so far. He's down in 7th place. He's in this little pack of cars trying to make their way up the order. As you see, look at the hard racing going on here as Julio trying to find a way past Driscoll. As all we see was dust then as someone went off in the background. But now he changes of positions. Davison up ahead of Richardson, and looks like for now at least it is Driscoll who is still holding on to that P4 ahead of Julio. But up here in the battle for 2nd place, look at that Marriott really beginning to put the pressure on Sandover for 2nd as Lewis is beginning to stretch that lead out front just a little bit now. As Marriott is actually purple on this lap. Could he be a contender for victory? As you see side-by-side racing behind, Wonderful camera shots, I must say, we're getting around this circuit. It is a very wide circuit, so plenty of room for a nice long-range camera, but still, that's really nice shots we're having around this circuit, and I really hope they continue as he's Marriott running a little bit wide off that final corner, but it looks like he's got it all under control. So now we see Davison side by side with Pulio here, making their way down the main straight. It looks like Richardson trying to get himself in this little scrap, trying to get himself up into the top 5 here. The crucial stage points goes a little bit deep into that first corner. Another wonderful camera shot here. Pulio still in 5th with Richardson and Davison side by side, going through this long right-hander, a really tricky corner. One of many corners on this racetrack that just seems to go on and go on and go on forever. Davison, though, really pressuring the back of that number 7 car. These two are already going to come together once in this race. Looks like they're going to try and avoid doing that again as Richardson has to brake so late there to try and cover off any chance on attack. Look at it, Davison all over the back, and whilst these two battle, it's continuing to allow those ahead to break away, and indeed, Davison is now up into 6th place. We've got side by side here for that second position. Lewis with a big gap out front now. It is Marriott versus Sandover for the second place in stage 1. Looking to try and get some big points away from this one. They're side by side as they head towards the final couple of corners. Marriott with that preferred inside line. Will Sandover leave space? He does. But they make their way as he chops across the nose. That's a bold move. Marriott looks like he's backed out of that one. Maybe looking to try and make something happen on the run to the straight. He's almost into the back of him. Let's look at it. They make it their way out of the final corner. They'll be side by side as they make their way towards the line. Who's it going to be that gets second? It's just barely by an inch going to be Sandover who takes second place there, as Adam Richardson will take the final point from stage 1 as Pulio just dropped out there as Davison fell to 7th in the end there. So perhaps some drama in that little pack. But they are your 5 stage point drivers here in stage 1. Aston Lewis adds another playoff point to his collection this season, looking like a very good season so far for the Brit, but it's still a long way to go in this one. And with these two behind him battling, perhaps that didn't quite show what the gaps really were like, as Ridwan Hamza sets the fast lap of the stage there right at the end. So, I mean, maybe there's a driver who's had problems in that first stage that can come up and fight for it. Who knows? That's just how the first stage has gone. Still got a long way to go in this race. 23 laps to be exact. But it's Aston Lewis who wins stage 1. As now we begin the preparations for stage 2 in this race, we'll just quickly change over the settings so that we are all ready. And we'll change it over, give these drivers enough time to save the replay if they do want to. And then we can get back to racing. If you have any questions, please do feel free to ask in the comments, along with if you have any drivers you're supporting or perhaps backing in today's race. And who also are your predictions for this race? Who do you think is going to win? And will we see a new winner? Will we see another driver lock themselves into the playoffs? This is going to be an interesting race, I think, with a few drivers definitely shining in that one in particular. So yes, do feel free to ask anything in the comments down below. Just waiting for these drivers to all load in now, just waiting on Ben Driscoll, and then we can go back to racing. As they are now all in, we can get ready to go racing in stage 2. Got a new comment there, let's have a look at this one. No, George, we will not be doing that. If you win, we'll do it, okay? So, George, if you win the race, I will add that account to the chats. I hope that gives you the extra incentive you need to go and win that. So back out of this so we can get all the access to the camera angles as we prepare the formation lap here. See them all getting into position. And those will be starting from pole position here today. Drivers now just beginning to get themselves into position. So the drivers to watch out for in the second stage, I'd say, are Tyler Davison, Ruben Hamza, and Nathan Marriott as well. Was very quick towards the end there of that one. So that's just 3 drivers there, other than of course the leader Aston Lewis, who always will be one to look out for. But just other than leader there, a few names to maybe keep an eye on to see how they progress through the field in this one. We will tell them green this time now, so they are all aware. So we've got a couple of cars off the road, just politely ignore them. Although one of them, I believe, was front row driver Scott Sandover, who is going to retake that position. Potentially illegally, but we'll look at that after the race. As they now get ready for the restart here. 8 laps in stage 2, or 7 after this formation lap. Side by side out front, we get ready for the restart. Aston Lewis is on the pole. It is Scott Sandover alongside, and we are racing here in the smillzyGT once more. And it's Aston Lewis with a good restart, but not as good as some of the others, as the right-hand side lane looks a little bit better stacked up, as look at them flying past the camera there as they dive into this first corner. Scott Sandover looks like he's clear going to the first corner. We have Ben Driscoll getting up into 3rd place, Marriott dropping back a little bit there on the restart. Perhaps an experience showing there, as he then fights his way with Matt Pulio in the background. It's Aston Lewis ahead of Sandover, and then Driscoll, as then you see Pulio on the outside, already gaining a couple of places here, as then we see racing behind Davison and Richardson there. That's gone wrong in the past. They dive into this next tight left-hander, and they all look like they're just about going to make it through, as now you see Davison running a little bit wide there, drops back just a tad, but he's now going to force his way back down the inside. Nice move there as well. Off in the background goes Richardson. Richardson's off the road. That's 1 car off in this second stage now, so we're at 1 car. As then we see up at the front Ben Driscoll, Scott Sandover and Nathan Marriott trying to get up into 2nd place here. I think they all know that if you can't get into 2nd, you've got no chance to try and take the fight to the leader. As they fly their way through this final couple of corners. Driscoll looking to the outside here, as there you see another driver getting involved with Pulio. Oh, it's Driscoll goes around. Driscoll with a big spin off the final corner. Just tipped a wheel off the grass, and I said it's like Rainbow Road. That is exactly what happens, as he now drops into last place with a big mistake there. 2 drivers now around in this second stage, 1 away from a caution. As we look here in the fight for this 2nd place, Pulio is going to get up into 3rd here in the back. Nobody gets shoved wide. Marriott pushes him wide. That's going to allow Davison to get up another position now. Pulio drops down into 5th place, still better than he finished in that first stage, but he won't be happy there with that racing. Davison up into 4th, he's making good progress. Ruben Hamza, meanwhile, he's down in 7th still, but not too far back, still only 3.5 seconds off the leader. You see more and more racing here throughout the field. Pulio up ahead of Tuenbeek, who is in that 6th position. Hamza really getting pressure from Silver behind him. As there we see 45 car of Tuenbeek coming back down the hill. As further up the field, who's that racing away? That is Davison, who's going to get up into 3rd place here, past Marriott, one of the drivers who I said we want to watch. And so Davison there making good progress here in this 2nd stage. Now up into 3rd and up into the crucial stage points. Looking for another stage win. Maybe he can make it a 2nd win in a row. Really 100% lock himself into the playoffs. Of course, with 11 regular season races, means that you could technically have more than 8 winners, meaning that not all of the winners would get into the playoffs, but of course with 2 wins, you would of course 100% lock yourself into the playoffs. So you have side-by-side racing behind, that's Mario and Pulio again. It didn't go too well last time, but we'll look in this battle for 2nd. Davison on the inside of Sandover, can he get this move done? He's going to have to leave a little bit of space. Sandover though backs out of it, and Davison up into 2nd place ahead of the 23 car. With the 5 has made his way up into 4th place, with the 43 of Marriott falling in to 5th. Oh, but he's looking back down the inside. That'll be a bold move. He looks for it and he's going to make it stick, really. Put his nose there. Pulio looks like he left some room. As again, looking like he's going a little bit wide there, but you can really swing the car around up at the top of the hill here. Really tricky couple of corners. Catch you off guard, quite blind, especially that last couple there. And they make their way back sharply downhill and now into the left-hander. Now back up through the hill, through the little crest, and now back downhill like they go again. Real roller coaster of a track here. Marriott trying to pressure for that 4th position. Of course, finished 3rd in that first stage, so looking to try and repeat that. As just up ahead we have Sandover clinging on to the back of Davison quite well, I must say here. Davison showing some really impressive pace so far, so Sandover to be holding on that well. Quite good, I'd say. as he comes across the line there. Davison, not his best lap, but still a very competitive lap time there, as Ridvan Hamza just put in 1:11.0, half a second quicker than Davison's best. So that shows what Hamza can do further down the order in the number 79 car for FR Racing. Aston Lewis now at a 1.2 second lead now, ahead of Davison. Sandover drops back and he's off into the gravel. Has he held it? No, that's off in the background. That is a big crash. Pulio, and that I believe was Marriott who got involved as well. And the caution is going to come out here as a huge, huge incident there. Going out off the track and, well, never returning, it looked like. Let's see, where is Pulio? Has he got back onto the track a bit quicker? Yes, he's up in 7th place here. And that could spark some debates after this one. We've got a car off the road. Who is that that's gone around? Is that Sandover? It is. It's Sandover who's gone off the road. Under caution here. Was he hit or did he jump? It's interesting with another car off the road in the background there of George Hassart. Field trying to sort of get themselves sorted out for a restart this lap. Looks like we should be able to get going on this lap looking at it. So we'll say green this time. This track quite high speed in the final sector, so whilst they look really spread out, by the time they get to the final corner, they'll all be caught up again. So always got a bit of contact there in the mid-pack. Maybe someone dipping a wheel off the track. But up at the front, it's Lewis on the left-hand side, Davison on the right. Who will get the better restart here? The 11 car puts his foot to the floor and we are racing again there. There's someone's already out of line in the background. I don't know who that was that went onto the grass as they crossed the line. It is Ridvan Hamza already up in the 2nd place, but Tuinbeek looking to the inside. As they go 3-1 to the first corner, there's wheel-to-wheel bang, and Davison's off in a big way. Tyler Davison's off in a big, big way. It's, oh, that's Hamza spinning across the field. Another car, multiple cars involved. And the caution is going to come out here as multiple cars off the road in that incident. Drama here on the restart. Davison off in the first corner. Then Ridvan Hamza spun through the field. And, well, as soon as you see a car sideways like that in the middle of the pack, you know, just know that it is not going to end well, as the caution is out again here in this race. See here the field lining up. You now have Marriott up on the front row. Bit of a rotating guest appearance really on this front row next to Aston Lewis. He's, I think, been, fair to say, the regular host of this particular show. We will be green this time. So we'll have 2 laps of racing to end the stage. No more cautions will happen. So it's going to be a straight fight to the finish. What will be, will be. Lewis in the 11 car, Marriott in the 43. And it's the 7 and 45 behind them. We are back to racing here in the smillzyGT, and it's a huge jump there. Absolutely massive jump from Lewis, who's way clear of the pack as they go across the line. He's going to have free choice of where he puts that car into the first corner. Marriott's going to hold on to 2nd place there as Tuinbeek looks to try and get himself into the fight. As there we see Marriott on the back of Lewis. Tuinbeek just right there in the fight. Then it is Richardson and Sandover also up into these stage points positions. Bit of dust being thrown up there. Who's that off? That is Driscoll. Always he spins back into the pack and he takes Tyler Davison with him. But what a save there from Davison. He just about holds onto the car and well, he's still in with a shout here of stage points. What a save. Got hit at quite high speed to hold on to that one. Very impressive. As up at the front, Lewis ahead of, was that, oh, when Davison's off again. So, well, that saves wasted here. It's all, look at this. Marriott's looking for the lead. He's trying to find a way past Lewis here for the lead. Marriott, the 43 all over the back of the number 11 car out front. Tuinbeek's riding this one as well, and so is Richardson. We've got our first real fight for the front here in this race. Marriott's going to hold on there with a big snap there for Lewis. Marriott's on the inside. Lewis is off the road. Marriott punts him wide. Contact between the top 2, and Marriott will lead them onto the final lap of this stage. Richardson's going to fight for the lead as well here, as that looks like Rick Tuinbeek, who's in the fight as well. They're side by side to the first corner. Richardson is going to take the lead here, looking for his first win, but is he going to go wide? No, he keeps it on the racetrack. And we've got the number 45 car making his way down the inside of the number 43 as they make their way through this long corner. It's Richardson out front, but they're still side by side for 2nd place. How's this one going to end? It looks like they've all given each other a nice bit of room there. Good to see as Tuinbeek down the inside trying to make this move stick in the 45 car, not quite able to do it. Richardson out front though, just holding on to the lead, just watching his mirrors as All hell breaks loose, but he goes wide. No, I can't believe it. Richardson's gone wide as well now. He's loose all over the dirt and the gravel. Puglio's up into third, and it's Turnbeek up into front. Oh, that's Richardson off again. Richardson's got even wider this time, and that throws away any chance of stage points. It's Turnbeek in the lead, Marriott in second. They're going to be racing all the way down to the final corner now, and quite possibly all the way to the line. This is the final lap of stage 2, but it's so exciting. Marriott in the 43 is going to sweep all the way around the outside for the lead. Can he make the corner? He just about will. Will Turnbeek have a run to the line? He's going to have a huge run. Who is going to win stage 2? Is it Turnbeek? Is it Marriott? It's Marriott by 9 thousandths of a second here. It's Puglio who takes third, Lewis in fourth, and Richardson, despite making several mistakes on that final lap, will still, by some miracle, finish in 5th place there and take the final stage point away from what was a thriller of a second stage here. NASCAR GT, Willow Springs. They certainly didn't disappoint in stage 2. Stage 3 on its way in just a few moments' time here as the final couple of cars finish this second stage. That certainly was exciting, and a stage win on debut. Nathan Marriott take a bow, but now the final stage is on its way. Could a race win be possible for the rookie? But there you go. Nathan Marriott, your stage 2 winner. Making the final few changes now for the final stage. Getting ready for the end to the action. The sun continues to fall in the sky. Temperatures will drop, the grip will rise. And hopefully so will the racing action that we witness. Just a few moments now until this final stage gets underway. Just waiting on Tyler and Ridwan to quickly enter, and then we will be ready to go. Just waiting on Ridwan now. Hopefully he will enter his car quite soon. He's got another comment. Quickly say hi. Let's quickly at Ridwan so that he knows that we're waiting. He'll probably be entered by the time I finish typing this. Just calling it now. No, he isn't actually. Rare dub. Quite a few drivers have shown their speed so far in this smillzyGT, possibly the race of the season so far. It's been chaotic, but so far relatively good chaos, if that makes sense. Not been too bumper cars, just hard racing is what I've seen so far, which is what we want to see. We don't mind a bit of roughing up when it's hard racing. It's when it crosses that line into just, well, stupidity is when it's less okay. Ridwan is now in, so we can start the final stage here of the smillzyGT 75. Just waiting for the formation lap to begin now. This stage will be longer than the previous two. Actually, it will be, well, the 50% of the race distance will come in this final stage, so sort of, if that makes sense. Should give you an idea of what to expect here as the cars are beginning their formation lap. And coming across the line now. We'll get up all the timing that you could possibly ask for. It's not necessarily entirely true. We'd like some more timing maybe, but it'll do. As we see there, Nathan Marriott will restart from first. And then it will be Rick Tuenbeek restarting in second. Behind them, it will be Aston Lewis, the winner of stage 1. And of course, the first 2 races of the season, Matt Julio restarting in third there in the inside of that second row. He's had a mixed start to the season so far. Currently, I believe, in 5th in points, despite a disqualification from round 2 of the season, and a bit of a struggle last time out in the Japan 150. But still, his consistency, if you ignore the disqualification, has been quite impressive in terms of just picking up the points. Coming at the end of the day, he's 5th in the championship. But you know, you compare that to some of the others, you perhaps see the differences. As you got a car off there on the formation lap. It's a rare challenge of Willow Springs is the driving at a slow speed. As let's quickly pop in a green this time, and we will be ready to go back to racing. Who was that that dropped back? It was Afonso Silva. We should start doing that. Name and shame the people who have gone off on formation laps. Here we go now. Through the final corner. 14 laps await. See there, the shadows really covering most of this racetrack. Apart from here, the very next camera shot where the sun is beaming down. They make their way out onto the front stretch. When will he go? He goes! And we are back to racing in the smillzyGT. It's Marriott who leads them across the line in stage 3. It's Tuenbeek alongside him, but he's immediately dropping back and having to defend from Lewis, who's got a car straight on in the background. Who was that? I believe that was Julio, who's gone straight on. And that means that Marriott leads down into this next long right-hander. Tuenbeek having to defend from Lewis. Lewis right on the platform here. Already got one car off that, of course, being Julio, who went straight on in that first corner. As Tuenbeek goes wide, that's going to allow Lewis to get to his outside. And he'll complete the pass around the outside, really just about clearing him. And gets that one done. Has got another car off in the background. Who is that? And that's Tyler Davison, who's gone off again. More dramas for the Brit who won last time out, Tyler Davison. More trouble here, as he's now down into 10th place. One more car spins, and we have a caution. Lewis up into 2nd place, ahead of Tuenbeek. Silva right in the mix as well here, looking to try and get himself up into a podium position in that Dove Motorsport number 12 car. Marriott out from the 43. Lewis having to defend from Tuenbeek. Tuenbeek rams his car down the inside, nicely finding a gap there. And getting up a position, but he goes wide, so does Silva. Both of them wide. Will Tuenbeek keep it out of the wall? No, he spins into the end of the pit wall, and the caution will come out here at the end of the first lap of racing here. As that is, well, the worst place to crash, really, isn't it, for Tuenbeek? As he gets narrowly avoided by Davison there. Saw him go wide at the final corner. I'll admit I've made the same mistake before, but sometimes when you go wide at that final corner, you have to sort of just admit that you've made a big mistake and back it down, slow as much as possible, and rejoin as carefully as possible. Tuenbeek went with the probably more common strategy of, if in doubt, go flat out, and just went wider and wider and wider to the point where he couldn't quite get the car back on the racing line in time, as Lewis has gone way off under caution here. I think does he know another way? I'm not quite sure. He's up on the top of the hill. He makes his way back down the hill now. And looks like he's off again. That's good to see. Kimi Räikkönen 2012 Interlagos-esque there. But you know, each their own. Ruben Hamza, interestingly, is now on this front row of the grid, driving for FR Racing, as we will be green this time. Hamza looking to try and take advantage here. He's got the pace, but he's got some slight internet connectivity issues, so it's hurting his ability to race his way up the order. So if he can get the lead, maybe that'll be enough for him to break away, but it's going to be hard for him to race his way there, I think, as we come out of the final corner. And we are back to racing here. So they make their way down the main straight, and the smillzyGT is back underway. Marriott leads them across the line. Silva is straight up to second there, as Hamza is dropping down into third and is under pressure from Driscoll on the inside in the 36 car for Dove Motorsport. Red one goes wide. We said that he had some connectivity issues. Could that have been a part of that? He's going to rejoin just alongside Lewis and Davison there. A sort of group of cars that have all got immense pace but just haven't had the the luck in this final stage, it seems. As they race their way through this long right-hander. Silva is up into second place. So it's Tumbik's going around, is he? Is Tumbik going around? Still got a big crash there. And it's Hamza off the road. So is Tumbik, and 2 cars off here. No luck at all there for Hamza in this final stage, by the looks of things, as he got collected in that spin for Tumbik. But up at the front, it is the zero quality racing car, ironically, of course, of Nathan Marriott. In the 43 car is Driscoll. He's going to try and get himself up there. The Dalton Autosport cars nearly collide as they make their way down towards the final corner. Bold move by Driscoll to get up ahead of his teammate there in the number 12 car. Then we have it Richardson looking for the move as Driscoll goes a little bit wider. Richardson's right into the back of him, narrowly avoiding contact. They're nearly 3 wide into the final corner. That's unheard of stuff. It's Richardson. Has he gone wide? He has. Richardson just about holds on to it there as he, well, hits the cameraman. Coming back into the racetrack there. Lewis up into 7th. Davison up into 6th here. Good progress made by these two in bid to get back up the order. As then we have Pulio up in 5th. He, of course, went off on the first lap of this stage. Really is a mixed bag we've had in this one. Silva and Driscoll currently running up in that 2nd and 3rd place. Don Motorsport will be quite happy to see that. Hopefully Evan's still watching there, their team principal, as they make their way through into this next corner. And as I say that, Driscoll goes off the road and is going to rejoin into the path of Richardson. Will likely contact, that was close. He's got another car off there, who's that? And it's Davison off again, and the caution will come out here. Once again in stage 3, the caution is out. And, well, I think it's fair to say Nathan Marriott was quite annoyed with that. He had a nice lead going on, was quite happy out front, didn't have to worry. And then the caution flag arrives. Inevitability, arguably, here in the NASCAR GT series. They're just going to begin stacking up here. Hopefully they'll get in position. I'm going to gamble again and say we'll be green this time. From the field is all lined up here. Side by side, all through the field, we get ready. 10 laps remain in stage 3. And we are racing once again in the final stage of the smillzyGT here at Willow Springs. Good jump immediately on the inside line for Marriott. But you can see there he had almost too good of a jump. He's left the driver behind him, right behind him. And Sandoval's going to go all the way around the outside to take the lead here of this race ahead of Marriott. Marriott did not get a bump on that restart. The car behind him did not get a good restart at all, whilst the other line got a very good one and managed to work together. And immediately, you see here, trying to retake the lead. Oh, he's going to push him a little wide, a lot bit wide. Sandoval and Driscoll off the road. That can't end well. Multiple cars off. Huge one coming out of that corner, and the caution will once again fly here. As multiple cars went wide, multiple cars caught up in that. I think 4 cars were off in total. And that's again mixed up the field, and somehow out of all that, Aston Lewis is back at the front here of this race. Really has been a chaotic one here. That corner really catching people out. The leader in last season's race made a mistake in that very corner late on. I believe it may have been on the last or penultimate lap, handing the win to a different driver. So it's a tricky corner, especially when you're going side by side for it. And we will again be green this time. Hopefully we can start getting full laps of racing again. That was good fun whilst that lasted. And Lewis on the front row alongside Silva as they prepare for this next restart. It's just Driscoll who's yet to catch up, but we will still be green this time. Lewis making his way through the final corner now. I believe Driscoll's actually gone off catching the field, which isn't good for him. And Lewis puts his foot back down to the floor, and we are racing again in the smillzyGT. The field fans out behind, which probably shouldn't be happening given they haven't crossed the start-finish line yet. As Aston Lewis had a huge lead going to the first corner. You see them battling their way through the first one now. As Lewis is off from the lead, Richardson's off from, I think, about 3rd place there. He rejoins in 10th. He just about keeps control of the car. Driscoll did indeed make a mistake before they even caught up to the back of the pack there. As now we see Davison just ahead of Sandoval. Contact! Who's that off the road? And it's Marriott who's gone wide. He spins off the track, and that's another car around, and so is someone else. And multiple cars are involved. I don't know who it is there. And it's Pulio around, and the caution is again out here. 3 cars, Pulio, Driscoll, and that, of course, Marriott with drama. And again, we have the yellow flag here, and somehow again, the top 3. The 3 drivers that just, it feels like seconds ago, I was mentioning about Lewis, Davison and Hamza, all sort of not having much luck in this final stage. They're 1st, 2nd and 3rd now. Anyone else want me to sort of predict another driver, point them out as unlucky so they end up in the lead or something? It seems to be the way this race is going so far. quite chaotic indeed. And, well, certainly be one to remember as we tell them green this time. Well, 8 laps remain. Strap yourself in, it's going to be a long one, I think. Lewis once again up front. Davison looking to get into the mix. Hamza as well, hoping for a chance of victory. And we are back to racing here in the smillzyGT 75. Big jump by Lewis. Davison left standing still on that restart. He's going to have to defend from Sandover. Turenbeek's looking to the inside of Sandover in the background as well. Hamza's lost lots of places there. Really tough restart for the Australian as he drops down into 8th place. But up the front it's Lewis, ahead of Davison, and then Sandover is in 3rd place. 7 laps remain at the end of this one. Looks like everyone so far has kept on the racetrack. Now they get through this tricky corner. Will they all survive this time? It looks like they have, everyone keeping it on the road crucially. You hear the squealing of tyres as they make their way up the hill now. Lewis leads the way, Davison just 3 attempts back. Sandover looking to maybe pick up some scraps here as these top 2 look set to start racing. Turenbeek in that 4th position, with Richardson in 5th, Silver in 6th, and then it's all hell really breaking loose further back as Driscoll, then it's Marriott, Pulio, and well, everyone else by the looks of things in this little group. Now as they make their way into the final corner, they all spread out just a little bit, single file out. Takes a brave driver to go side by side for Heroes. Lewis keeps it on the racetrack crucially, but Tyler Davison with a much better exit in the 57 car onto the straight. Will he have a chance into turn when he's got a good run? Looks like he might be a bit too far back this time. Will he look for a dive? No, he keeps it in line. And Lewis will hold on to lead for now as they fly their way through this first corner. Sandover in 3rd place, having to hold off a huge pack of cars here for this final step on the podium. As the top 2 nose to tail. Less than 2 tenths between them now, almost less than a tenth as they come out onto this next very short straight. Davison's going to look to the outside of Lewis. They just about survive their way through there as they're side-by-side racing in the background as well. Almost all the way through the field they're side-by-side racing, whereas Lewis runs a little bit wide. He keeps it on the racetrack though. As we've got side-by-side, and that's someone who didn't keep it on the racetrack there in the back, and that's Silver who's gone wide, I believe. Indeed it is. A couple of cars getting past him, but up at the front Lewis with that tight line. Will he get a bit hurt and hindered on exit? Davison right on the rear of him. Will he look to the inside? Will he look to the outside? Where is he going to put that car? He's going to look to the outside as he goes through the final couple of corners. Davison looking to switch back to the inside. There's contact. Lewis covers it off. Bravery at its finest here between these top 2. Lewis and Davison looking to try and battle for this lead. Try and hold on to it. Try and capture it. This could well go down to the very last lap here. Davison is going to get the run off the final corner and will take the lead, but there's contact between the top 2. Lewis holds on just about to the car. Turenbeek in 3rd place there. Head off Sandover now. Richardson in 5th. Then it's Marriott with a good recovery here. Hamza in 8th. And Knight to Matt Pulio. Silver on his inside. They're trying to get that position away from him. But up at the front, Davison already with almost 8 tenths of a gap over Ashton Lewis. As we've got a car spinning in the background. Who is that that's gone around? It's Pulio. Pulio has spun here in the Fast Formula Racing number 5 car. Resets that car to track. And up at the front, Davison leads ahead of Lewis. Lewis trying to find some pace here. He's had a mixed race so far. He needs to find some consistent laps to try and take the fight to the number 57. Or could well Davison take victory, take his 2nd win in a row, and try and match what Lewis did in the first 2 races of the season. These are the 2 drivers already locked into playoffs for this championship season, trying to get themselves yet more playoff points and more regular season points to boost their chances in the playoffs later in the season. Oh, Lewis with a big off. Is he going to go off entirely? No, he somehow holds on to it. Lewis had a big moment coming out of turn 1 there, dipping all sorts of wheels off the racetrack, but just about holds on to that position as Davison loses it. He's held on to it now as well. Great saves from these top 2 as they fight to just, well, keep the car on the road. It seems like it's really in a league of their own out front, and it's showing as Davison leads just over Aston Lewis, and maybe mistakes could be the difference between a victory and, well, much less points at the moment Only the one driver with a problem in this final stage so far, in this most recent run in the final stage so far, that being Matt Pulio with his problems. As we look further down the order, we've got side-by-side racing, as that's Sandover racing with Marriott in the 43 car for Zero Quality Racing 1, stage 2 of course, looking to try and get up into the top 5 here. Of course, in this final stage everyone scores points, and he's going to go all the way around the side. Can he pull that one off again? He does. What a move. Really, what a move. There's a good car from the background. That's Silver. He's gone very wide in the final corner. Gets it back on the racetrack, and that is now 2 cars with problems in the final stage. George Hassart, he's struggling for pace a little bit here, hence why he's down the order. But up at the front, Davison leads by 8 tenths, almost a second again here. So he continues to pull that gap out ahead. Richardson getting up ahead of Turnbeek as they make their way around at the top of the hill. Still side by side for that third position. Crucial points in this championship season. Now he's going to fight back on the inside, not quite able to get the nose where it needs to be. Has to back out of that move. Making their way back down the hill now through that quite tricky left-hander. Although it's one of the few corners around here that you can see before you get to it, so not as tricky as it perhaps would be in comparison to some of the others around this circuit. Davison now at a 1.2 second lead, a huge gap out front. A win for Davison would be also quite an interesting thing because it would match the all-time wins statistic in NASCAR GT. So this one could take him up to 19 wins, which would take him to equal first of all time. Lewis trying to stop that from happening here as they're still side by side for this third position. Richardson on the outside of Turnbeek, just about keeps the car around the outside. Can he get it down the inside now? Looks like he's going to get it done. He's got a car wide on with that car around. Who's that? That's Driscoll. And there's going to be a caution. A late caution in this race. That is late drama as Ben Driscoll in 36 for Dodge Motorsport spins his car around. And that gives a break to some drivers down the order. And perhaps to Aston Lewis, who's beginning to lose hope out front. Drama here. Phil beginning to bunch up here. With only 2 laps remaining, we will have to be green this time. Sadly for those further back, it's not going to help them too much here. But only 2 laps remain. Have to have 2 laps of racing in the final stage of the race. So just to match NASCAR's overtime rule, basically. It looks like everyone apart from that, sadly, George Hassart's going to catch up. As they make their way across the start-finish line again, Davison and Lewis side by side here. Davison is back to the throttle, and we are racing for the final time in stage 3 in the smillzyGT. They break late into turn 1. Lewis looking to try and take the lead away from Davison. He can't quite find room. He's right up the rear of the 57 car. He's looking all over the place. He sends one to the inside. There's contact. Davison knocked wide. Lewis is going to get through and into the lead here in controversial fashion. He knocks his way up into the lead of this race. Got a car off in the background there. So they now fly their way into this next corner. Davison looks to the inside. He's not quite up to his nose. Down there as it's Lewis who leads ahead of Davison. Davison down the inside though. He wants to take this lead straight back. Lewis is going to get pushed wide. Lewis just about keeps the car relatively on track, I suppose you could say. As you've got more battles going down the order. Richardson's a bit sideways in the background there. Turnbeek still in that third position ahead of Marriott in the 43. He's in a race now alongside the number 45 car. 2 similarly orange cars in this field. But up at the front, Lewis looking to try and find a space. He can't find room on the inside. He looks to the outside. Could there be contact here? He's going to dive into the inside. That could end in tears. They made their way to the final corner. Davison, somehow there's room. I don't believe that. As there is 1 lap left. White flag is in the air. Lewis leads them across the stripe. 1 final lap remains. Davison looking to try and take this lead back from the number 11 Phoenix Motorsports car of Aston Lewis. They're making their way down towards This long right-hander. This is where Lewis took the lead just a lap ago. Davison looking to try and fight back now as he's right up behind Lewis. Davison has arguably been the quicker of the two cars here, looking to try and find a space. He's on the outside. You can't make the move there, surely. He can't indeed. He has to try and find another gap as they're wrecking in the background. Lewis is still holding on. Davison, where's he gone? Davison's off the road. Davison's thrown it down into the gravel. He's put it in the gravel and he rejoins down in 8th place. Tyler Davison off the road. Drama late on here as Aston Lewis now has a 2.5 second lead and it looks almost not in doubt. There is just one long corner remaining here. Lewis out front, ahead of Turismo and then Marriott. These two gifted a position after that rare Davison mistake. Up at the front though, Lewis, is he trying to get his 3rd win on the season? The points leader, will he get another win into his back pocket? He makes his way through the final corner for the final time, and it's going to be Aston Lewis who wins the Smilzy 75 as they wreck towards the line. Who's it going to be that gets second? It's Sandover, then it's Richardson. Polio out of nowhere gets 4th, then it's Silver in 5th. Davison drops down to 6th, as then it's Marriott in 7th. Driscoll will take 8th, then comes Hamza in 9th. Turismo, despite being in 2nd on that final lap of the race, will drop down to 10th after a collision with Marriott. And then it's George Hassart who will take the final finishing position here today, and I'm sure that there will be drama, tempers, probably a bit of everything in these drivers' conversations after this race. What a finish, and what a race. I didn't see that one coming, I have to admit. I did not see that one coming. Lewis wins from the pole. Well, he had to fight for it, that's something you certainly can say. Next week, we will be returning to short track racing at the Northern Ireland Speedway, a track that has got a long history in NASCAR GT. Looking to try and continue that legacy of some great races over its time in the series. Of course, has held 2 championship finales in that time. So we'll return there next week for round 5 of the NASCAR GT Season 6. I hope you will enjoy today's race. And, well, until next time, goodbye.